Welcome to this session on finishing processes. This is session 11, part 2, and the name of the subject is Fashion Material and Production Management for Merchandisers. And then we come to the block or the die pressing. Now, block or die pressing is it is a molding process that establishes the product's conformance to a form. Now, you may have a hat which has a particular shape, or you have the cup of a bra. It has a three-dimensional round shape. So if you want to give a particular shape, then we use a block or a die pressing. Now, block pressing may change the surface characteristics and dimensions of a product. So something which is flat, block or die pressing can be used to give it a three-dimensional, a ball-like a shape, or shape of a gloves, or shape of a hat. Once the shape has been given, then the shape of that hat will not change. So the block pressing is used to give it a particular permanent shape. Now this is one such example where we are doing block or die pressing. Now this block or die pressing is being done for two parts. One is the cuff and the second is the collar. So this is only for pressing of the cuff and the collar. The rest of the garment parts will be ironed using irons, the handheld iron. But for the collar and for the cuff, this particular pressing is used. Now, a factory which is doing all kinds of garments, they would not use this kind of die pressing. But someone who is only doing formal shirts will definitely buy this machine, because the ironing quality that you will get from this machine for the cuff and for the collar, that quality you will not be able to achieve from the handheld iron. That is not possible. So someone who only does formal shirts will definitely buy this particular machine. Now, in case of block or die pressing, the fabric or product is placed on a fixed form or die or block before pressure, heat, and or steam are applied, like we saw in the previous slide. Hats and glove manufacturers, they use block pressing to shape and mold their products. The gloves that are used for taking out the dishes from the oven. So because the entire dish, the plate is very hot, so you have to use the glove. So and that glove has a particular shape to it. So the glove manufacturers, they use block pressing to shape and mold the products. Die presses may also be used to shape and mold collars, collar stands, and cuffs. That's what we saw in the previous slide. And block or die pressing can be used to fold and crease patch pockets and pocket flaps. So pocket flaps and patch pockets, they can also be folded and creased using block or die pressing. And it's all automatically done. The operator positions the component over a die. So whatever has to be pressed. So let's say it is a patch pocket. So you place the patch pocket over the die. Second, you switch on the machine. Third, the folding blade, there are folding blades which fold the edges of the pocket, and it will hold the edges of the pocket to the underside for the creases to be set. So imagine a pocket has been kept, it is folded from all the three sides, and then it is lifted and put onto the shirt front, and then the stitching machine attaches the pocket to the shirt front. So the entire thing is automated, and pocket may be automatically sewed. So there are dozens of videos on YouTube in which you can see that on one side of the machine, the shirt front, mostly the pockets are attached to the left side of the shirt. So the left front of the shirt is kept at one end. On the other side, you just place the pocket at the right place. The folders are going to fold the pocket from all the four sides, and it's going to lift and place the pocket on the front of the shirt. And then the stitching system is going to come in place and is going to attach the pocket to the garment. It's the most beautiful piece of machinery. So with that, we come to the fourth type of pressing, which is the form pressing. Now, form pressing used primarily for the final pressing or for renovating garments in dry cleaning plants. So this is something which happens at the last, not in the initial stage. And form presses are made in approximate shape as the finished garment. And we are going to see the visuals, which is going to make it fairly easy to understand that how the form pressing is done. And the expandable or collapsible bags are the most common type, like the example that we had discussed in case of pressure being applied using steam. So form pressing is that case where pressure is applied using steam, and the mechanism is that expandable or collapsible bags are used. They are put inside the tubular parts, which is sleeves or the trouser, the leg part of the trousers, and the steam is applied, steam is supplied inside these bags. The bags, they expand, and when they expand, they apply pressure to the garment part, and we'll see how. So if you see the visual, there's a jacket which has been mounted onto the mechanism, onto the form press. On the right side, we have the trouser. It has been clamped at the bottom and at the top, and there are two balloon kind of thing inside the collapsible bag, inside the jacket, as well as it is inside the two legs of the trouser. Steam is forced from the inside of the form through the garment, while the form expands to fill all the space inside the garment. So that balloon kind of thing, or the bag, it expands fully, and when it expands, it is going to apply pressure against the jacket or the legs of the trouser. And it is expanding, it is applying pressure, and because there is steam inside, so steam is being used to press the garment. Form presses require least amount of positioning and repositioning. Once you have put the jacket onto the form press, or you have clipped the trouser at the top and the bottom, that's it. You just have to press a button. Steam is going to fill the collapsible bag. It's going to inflate. It's going to press the garment for a certain number of seconds, and there you are done. You can remove the garment, put on the new garment, press the button, and again it will be done. So in this case, you don't need a skilled person. You don't need a pressing man. You just need a helper kind of a person who simply is taught how to put the garment onto the form. That's it. Garment is pressed with one surge of steam. You press a button, steam will go inside, pressing is done. Next. That's it. One thing here, it smooths. It cannot set creases. It can only smooth. So whatever tubular parts you have in a garment, the collapsible bag, it will just inflate itself and it will press the garment using steam. That's it. You cannot set creases using form pressing. This is another case, another example where shirt has been clamped. So the shirt has been put on the form. The sleeves, the cuff, the sleeves have been clamped on the two sides, and again you just have to press a button, and from the bottom the steam will be supplied. The collapsible bag will be inflated, and the shirt will be pressed using steam. And now we will come to another category of equipments which are called steamers. Now, steamers are machines that use only steam to mold and smooth the garment. So steamers are going to supply steam, and there's going to be a lot of steam. There's going to be a jet of steam, or there's going to be a, the entire room full of steam, or different other mechanism, and there are no humans are involved, and steam is going to come in contact with the garment, and it would mold or smooth the garment. There are different types of steamers that we're going to talk about. And steamers are used to form or stabilize the garment shape. No creasing will be done, nothing of that sort, only smoothing. So they are used to form the shape or stabilize the garment shape. And they are also used to smooth the surface of the fabric. Imagine a garment has been lying, on the hanger, has been hanging since last, let's say, 20-30 days in a store, and now looks a little crumpled. So only with the help of steam, if you just steam it, give it steam, don't touch it, you're not using any iron or something like that, you just apply steam to it, and it will, the surface of that garment will be smooth. Now, steamers, there are different types. Now, we're going to talk about the major types of steamers. Now, the first type is steam jet, second is steam guns, and the third is steam puff. And of course, last but not the least, we have the steam tunnels or chambers. Now, what we see here is A is the steam jet, B is the steam gun, C is the steam puff. Now, steam jet is where a nozzle is there through which the steam jet, there will be a jet of steam continuously coming out. Now, what you can do is that you can have a conveyor belt kind of system where you can either keep the garment, one garment over there, it receives fair amount of steam, gets smooth, you can remove that garment and put the next one. Or you can have a conveyor belt system where, one garment comes in front of the steam jet, stay there for a while, let's say 10, 20, 30 seconds, and then goes ahead and, the second garment comes in. So that's a conveyor belt system. That is where steam jet is used. Steam gun is where, it is handheld, it is portable. So you might not have a conveyor belt system, you don't have so much of budget and things like that. So you have a steam gun, the water can is attached at the bottom. You can hold it in the hands. It has to be powered by electricity, and it makes steam gun. It's a gun which makes steam. So you can actually go to the garment, and whichever local areas you see the garment is not looking good, a little crumpled or something like that, you can apply steam to that localized area, and you're done. So it's very, very handy. And then you have the steam puff. Such cases where it's just like a sauna bath. You have a steam puff. A puff which is not directed in a particular direction specifically. Puff comes out and it reaches all the parts of the garments and smooths it. And you're done. So steam puff is where the steam is coming out in a diffused format, and let's say in a chamber, and it fills the entire chamber, and you can keep the garment inside the chamber for, let's say, 1 or 2 minutes. You take it out, put the next one, and it goes on and on and on. And last but not the least, we have the steam tunnels or chambers, the big ones which can only be afforded by the bigger garment factories. Now this is a tunnel finisher. This is the smallest of the types. This is the tunnel, steam tunnel. Now in this case, from one side the garment is going inside, and from the other side the garments are going to come out. So what happens here is that a person is going to carry the garments and is going to hang it in the rail, and that rail automatically goes inside. So from one side you are putting those garments, you are hanging the garments which have to be finished. Those are going to go inside the tunnel, and once they are finished, they are going to come out from the other side, and another person is going to pick up those garments and will take it to the packing area where it will be now packed because it has been finished. So this is the steam tunnel with a very small chamber. Now steam tunnels or chambers are used for finish pressing. Finish pressing means only once the garments have been stitched, only then the garments will be brought over here. The garments are de-wrinkled within a chamber by the pressure of circulating steam. So inside this small chamber, the pressure is the steam is circulating inside, and with certain amount of pressure. So the garments are finished by way of the convection current of the steam. These may operate intermittently in case of racks of garments are loaded or unloaded, or it can be continuous. Now, intermittent is, let's say 4 garments have gone inside for 2 minutes. 2 minutes gone, 4 garments go out and 4 garments go in. So when you say start and then you stop and then you start and then you stop, that is intermittent. Continuous is in case of garments which are carried by rail or conveyor belt. Now, in case when you have this big system, in that case you will have a continuous system where from one side the garments are continuously going inside, and it takes about half a minute or 1 minute for the garment to travel the entire path inside the steam chamber and then come out. So in that case, garments are continuously entering the chamber from one side and continuously they are coming out from the other side. That is the continuous system. Now, in conveyorized systems, the garments are carried over nozzle of a steam jet. So you have a lot of steam jets, and in front of the steam jet, the garments are going to move through the conveyor system. They are going to move in front of the nozzles, and by the time they have crossed all the nozzles, the garments are already finished. Sometimes dry heat chamber is used to extract moisture from the garments before packaging. Now, sometimes when we use moisture for some processes, so in that case, before we pack the garment, we have to remove the excessive or the excess moisture in the garment. So in that case, we use dry heat chamber. Now, the heat chamber is the same, just that steam will not be there, only hot air will be there inside. And the same process will be used. The garments will go inside, stay inside for a while, and the heat, the dry heat is going to remove the moisture, is going to vaporize it. And the garments come out, it is dry, and now they are safe. They can be packed in the, they can be packed. Steam tunnels are used when creasing or molding isn't required. Now, please remember, steam tunnels cannot do the creasing or molding. It can only finish the garments, can only smooth the surface of the garment. Garments are carried through a steam chamber for final finishing. So what's happening over here is that you have done the ironing and everything has been done. Then someone is going to do the final inspection. Someone is going to attach the hang tag, the price ticket, etc., etc. So when these things are happening, the goods, the garments which are ironed, now their ironing has been slightly, has been gone awry, is not so well ironed now, because while people have been attaching stickers and other things to the garment, it becomes a little bad. So a little, the ironing has gone a little bad. In such cases, we use the steam chamber for final finishing. You don't have to iron it again. Steam steam chamber will take care of the basic minimum smoothing of the surface of the garment. Steam is used to remove wrinkles without the application of surface pressure. So, in case of steam, there is no surface pressure. Only there are steam tunnels or chambers with steam puff or steam jet or steam gun, which is used to remove the wrinkles. Now we come to the end of the sections where we talked about the ironing and pressing and steaming. Now in this last section, we are going to talk about some of those things that are part of the finishing. And the first one is thread cutting or trimming. Now, when we do the stitching, there is some amount of loose thread at the start of the stitch and at the end of the stitch. Now, that loose thread is categorized as a defect if the loose thread is more than, let's say, 1 centimeter. So those loose threads have to be removed. So there are these thread trimmer or thread cutting machines. So on the left side, you have the thread trimmer, just like we have the trimmer for our beard. So similarly, we have this trimmer which only sucks the thread and cuts it, does not damage the garment. On the right side, we have this system where you have this B point, you have the nozzle over there. At the nozzle, you place the garment where you see the loose thread. You don't try to cut it with a scissor. You simply place that garment over there where you find the loose thread. the suction is going to suck the thread, cut the thread, and you can remove the garment. So this is one way of removing the extra thread without damaging the garment or the fabric. We will now talk about the spotting machine. Now this is a big machine. Normally there are spotting guns which are handheld and which use power and which use different kinds of chemicals to remove different kinds of stains or spots. Now this is a state-of-the-art spotting machine which is nearly the size of 6 feet, and all kinds of spots. In the process of making the garment may get dirty or may have some oil stains or some kind of spots because of washing, because of any kind of operation, while cutting, while stitching, while washing, etc., whatever. So once the garment have been washed and still there is a spot which has not, which could not be removed because of with the help of washing, those garments are brought over here to remove these spots. Now there are two parts over here. One is A and B. Now B is a surface which has it has a metal mesh, a metal net, and it has big holes. And A is on top. A has finer mesh of metal, and the holes are smaller. Now you also have 1 and 2. 1 and 2 are such nozzles through which you can spray the chemicals or the amines. A very sharp jet of spray. Now, if you have a thick fabric, you keep it on B, and you use the 1 or 2, depending on whatever chemical you need, and you remove the spot. If the fabric is thin and delicate, then you keep it on A, which has a fine mesh, and then you use the jet 1 or 2 to remove. Now, if you hold the fabric, if you just hang it with a hanger, and then you apply the jet, you spray, and it's not a spray, gentle spray, it moves at a very fast pace with very high velocity. So if you hang the garment from a hanger, and then you apply this jet with the chemical or whatever, it may create a hole in the garment, in the fabric. That's why you have to keep it on a surface, so that when you are spraying it with the chemical, then the impact of that chemical, that jet, is to a large extent handled by the surface on which the fabric or the garment has been kept. So that's the job of the spotting machine. And then we have the spotting gun. Very famous, very let's say practically feasible in most of the export houses in India, and also the garment manufacturers for the domestic market. Now this is the spotting gun. You can see there's a wire, so it has to be connected to a power source, and the same thing that can be done using the spotting machine, it can be done using the spotting gun, just that you have to hold it in your hand, and then you can keep the garment onto a table, and then you can apply. So that jet, again, that jet is of very high velocity, and the spots can be removed. Now the thing is that if there is a type, let's say type A type of, so there is type 1 spot and there is type 2 spot. So different chemical would be required to remove different kind of spot. So one spotting gun will contain one type of chemical. So those type of spots which can be removed using this particular chemical, you are going to hold this particular spotting gun and then remove the spots. If it is another type, then you will not, you're going to use another spotting gun which has another chemical filled in that container. So spotting guns are something which are used predominantly in the export houses and the garment manufacturers in India. And then we have this tagging. You've seen all these tags and the Kimball or the grosgrain tape, with the help of which these tags are attached to the garment, which has the the prices and the brand and other things are there. So tagging is again a finishing part where you attach the tags to the garment. And then comes the packing method. Now packing method is To summarize it, it is either a garment is either folded or it is hung. It is hung from a hanger. So you can fold it and put it inside the carton, inside a poly bag. You can fold it, you can fold 10 garments one by one, and then you can put 10 garments inside one big poly bag. It's called a blister. Now, that is flat packed without any hangers. You may add a hanger to it, meaning to say every garment is hung with a hanger and then you put it inside the carton. So that is one way of doing it. Another is there is garment on hanger and it is going to hang and it will go to the buyer like that only. So you have those big containers, 20 footer, 40 footer, 80 footer. Inside those, the garments are hanging on hangers and it will reach the, let's say you have sent it from India to another country. It will reach the buyer hanging. That is GOH, garment on hanger. Then we have flat packed in cartons on hangers, which is hangers are there, you have flat packed the garment and you have kept it inside the carton. And one is where you have flat packed in cartons and you have kept the hanger inside the carton. Once it reaches the destination, you open the carton, you take out the garments, you take out the hangers, then you put the garments on the hangers and then you hang it in the rails in the retail store. So there are various methods of doing it. Depending on the type of garment, so if it is a sweater, you are advised against hanging it in hanger, because then your shoulder and sleeves, all of that is going to become very long. So we don't keep it on hangers. We pack it flat pack and we send it across. If you see the sweaters in the stores also, they will not be hung from the hangers. They will be folded and kept on the shelves. And then you can see how not to pack the garments. If you fold the garments and you put it inside a carton, which is either very loose or very tight for the garment, then after 1 month's time, when the garment is taken out from the carton, you can see all those creases on the garments. And then you can't hang it like that in the retail store. It's going to look ugly. So which means the retailer will again have to iron all the garments. In that case, the retailer is going to send a debit note to the manufacturer that you did not fold it properly and you did not put it inside the correct size of the carton. This is another such example where the carton itself has ruptured. Now this is where wrong type and size carton has been used. So sometimes when the garment is heavy and you use a very thin carton, it may break because of the pressure, because it cannot withstand that much of weight of the garment. And there can be various other reasons where the carton itself has ruptured. So these are disasters which should never occur in case of exports. And then last but not the least, one very important thing is the poly waste. So much of poly bag being used, so much of cartons being used, so much of stickers and everything. Now buyers like H&M, they are now strictly against this. They say that they will tell you that this is the method of packaging in which the least amount of poly bags and the least amount of cartons are used. So today the poly waste is a big hazard, which is not really being considered as of now in the Indian market. All these Levi's and UCBs and Wranglers of India, what do we do with all the poly waste? So that is again one big question mark on sustainability when we are talking about packing of the garments. So with that, we come to the end of this session. Thank you.